Number 1. 1966 Ford Fairlane Convertible, offered at $35,995 and currently located in Naperville, Illinois. In my opinion, this 1966 Ford Fairlane Convertible is exactly the type of classic car that many enthusiasts dream about owning for weekend cruising and summer road trips. It may not be the most exotic or highest horsepower vehicle from the era, but it represents what classic car ownership is often all about: simple enjoyment behind the wheel. What immediately catches my attention is the seller's claim that the car has been fully restored. Restoration work can vary greatly from vehicle to vehicle, but when completed properly, it can transform a classic car into a dependable cruiser that's ready to be enjoyed rather than constantly worked on. For many buyers, that's a major advantage. The convertible body style is another feature that adds to this Fairlane's appeal. In my view, some classic cars simply look their best with the top down, and the 1966 Fairlane is one of them. The clean body lines and balanced proportions give the car a timeless appearance that still looks great nearly 60 years later. I also like the fact that the seller describes it as an easy driver that starts right up. Those may seem like simple comments, but anyone who has owned older vehicles knows how important reliability can be. A classic car that's easy to start and comfortable to drive often gets used far more than one that's constantly needing attention. Another detail that stands out is the seller's willingness to connect potential buyers with the local shop that has serviced the vehicle. In my opinion, that's a positive sign because it shows a level of transparency and confidence in the car's condition. Having access to maintenance history and a knowledgeable service source can be valuable when purchasing any classic automobile. What appeals to me most about this Fairlane is that it appears to be focused on enjoyment rather than competition. It's not being marketed as a rare race car or an investment-grade museum piece. Instead, it sounds like a classic convertible designed to be driven, shared with family, and enjoyed on sunny weekends. Overall, my opinion is that this 1966 Ford Fairlane convertible offers the kind of relaxed vintage driving experience that makes classic car ownership rewarding. With its restored condition, convertible styling, and reportedly dependable manners, it seems like a car that could provide years of enjoyable cruising without sacrificing the charm that makes 1960s American classics so popular. Number 2. 1973 Mercury Montego, offered at $6,500 and currently located in Hammond, Indiana. In my opinion, this 1973 Mercury Montego looks like a solid and reasonably priced classic car that could appeal to enthusiasts looking for something different from the more common Chevrolets and Fords. With its original style appearance, matching green exterior and interior, and 351 Windsor V8 engine, it offers plenty of vintage American character at an affordable price point. One of the biggest positives is the extensive maintenance reportedly completed earlier this year. The seller states that numerous components have been replaced, including the carburetor, fuel pump, starter, ignition components, battery, thermostat, and several brake system parts. In addition, the car has received new tires and a wheel alignment. These updates suggest that considerable effort has been made to improve reliability and drivability, which is always encouraging when evaluating a classic vehicle. The interior is described as being in excellent condition, which could be a major advantage since interior restoration costs on classic cars can become expensive very quickly. The fact that the vehicle remains largely stock may also appeal to buyers who prefer originality over heavy modifications. The 351 Windsor is well known for its durability and parts availability, making ownership and maintenance easier than with some less common classic engines. As with any vehicle that is more than 50 years old, I would still recommend carefully inspecting the body, frame, floors, and trunk for rust or previous repairs. Verifying the quality of the recent mechanical work would also be worthwhile. However, if the car is as clean and mechanically sound as described, the asking price appears reasonable for a running and driving classic with a clean title. Overall, I think this Montego represents a good value for someone looking to own a distinctive 1970s American classic without spending a large amount of money. It may not have the popularity of some muscle cars from the same era, but its condition, recent maintenance, and affordable price make it a vehicle that deserves serious consideration. Number 3. 1976 Ford Elite, offered at $4,800 and currently located in Dyer, Indiana. In my opinion, this 1976 Ford Elite may be one of the better values I've seen among 1970s American classics. While it doesn't have the performance reputation of a Mustang or Torino, it offers something many collectors are beginning to appreciate more every year: affordable entry into the world of vintage V8 powered American cars. The first thing that stands out to me is the asking price. At just $4,800, this Elite is priced significantly below many restored or collector-grade classics. For someone looking to get into the hobby without spending tens of thousands of dollars, that's a very attractive starting point. In today's market, it's becoming increasingly difficult to find a running, driving V8 powered classic at this price level. Under the hood is a 351 cubic inch V8, which I think is one of Ford's most dependable engines from the era. The addition of dual exhaust and mufflers likely gives the car a deeper, more enjoyable sound while allowing the engine to breathe a little better. While the Elite was never designed as a muscle car, the 351 provides enough power to make these large personal luxury coupes enjoyable to drive. One statement that immediately catches my attention is the seller's claim that they would drive it anywhere. Personally, I always find that more meaningful than a long list of modifications. According to the seller, the car has successfully completed multiple trips of more than an hour and continues to run, drive, and stop without issues. That suggests the vehicle has proven itself as a usable classic rather than just a driveway ornament. Another feature I appreciate is the presence of original equipment. The factory hood ornament, factory Elite aluminum wheels, and original Elite rubber floor mat may seem like small details, but they're often the first things lost over decades of ownership. In my opinion, retaining these pieces adds character and authenticity to the car. The seller is also refreshingly honest about the condition. Rather than claiming perfection, they openly acknowledge that the paint isn't perfect and that there is some light rust in certain areas. I actually view that transparency as a positive sign. Most nearly 50-year-old cars will have some imperfections, and realistic descriptions tend to inspire more confidence than exaggerated claims. Stylistically, the Ford Elite represents a fascinating period in American automotive history. These cars were built during an era when comfort, style, and luxury were often prioritized over outright performance. The long hood, formal roofline, and substantial proportions give the Elite a presence on the road that modern vehicles simply don't have. Another thing I like about this listing is that it feels like a driver's car rather than a show car. The seller seems to have enjoyed the vehicle, taken it on trips, and maintained it well enough to remain dependable. In many ways, that's exactly what a classic car should be: a vehicle that gets driven and enjoyed rather than hidden away. Considering the price, the reported 32,000 miles, the 351 V8, factory equipment, and roadworthy condition, I think this Elite offers a lot of classic car for the money. Even if the mileage cannot be verified, the overall package still appears attractive for someone seeking an affordable cruiser. Overall, my opinion is that this 1976 Ford Elite represents a surprisingly appealing opportunity in today's classic car market. It may not be the most famous Ford ever built, but it offers V8 power, vintage styling, original features, and proven drivability at a price point that is becoming increasingly rare. For enthusiasts who appreciate overlooked 1970s classics, this Elite looks like the kind of car that could provide a lot of enjoyment without requiring a huge investment. Number 4, 1971 Buick Skylark Grand Sport Coupe 2D, offered at $35,000 and currently located in Kansas City, Kansas. From my perspective, this is one of those classic GM muscle cars that often lives in the shadow of the Chevelle, GTO, and Cutlass, but deserves far more attention than it typically receives. The 1971 Buick Skylark carries the same era-defining muscle car DNA while offering its own distinctive styling and personality. The first thing that catches my eye is the green exterior paired with a custom black interior. Personally, I think this combination gives the car a unique identity. In a sea of red, black, and blue muscle cars, a green Skylark immediately stands apart and creates a memorable presence at cruise nights and local car shows. Under the hood sits a 350 Chevrolet Crate engine. While purists may prefer a Buick-specific power plant, My opinion is that a crate engine can be a practical choice for someone who values reliability and ease of maintenance. Crate engines are often chosen because they provide dependable performance and eliminate many of the uncertainties that can come with older high-mileage engines. One of the features that really stands out to me is the glass pack exhaust system. Anyone who has spent time around classic muscle cars knows that exhaust tone plays a huge role in the driving experience. I can imagine this Skylark producing that unmistakable deep, aggressive rumble that turns heads long before the car actually comes into view. The seller describes the car as running strong and driving great, and in my opinion, that is one of the most important qualities in a classic vehicle. It's one thing for a car to look good sitting in a garage, but it's another thing entirely when it can be enjoyed regularly on the road. The automatic transmission also fits the character of the car quite well. Personally, I think many enthusiasts underestimate how enjoyable an automatic classic can be. For cruising, weekend drives, and car events, an automatic often allows the driver to simply relax and enjoy the experience without constantly working through gears. Another detail that catches my attention is the claim that the vehicle has been exceptionally well cared for. While every buyer should perform their own inspection, I always view long-term care and maintenance as more important than flashy modifications. A well-maintained classic tends to provide a much more enjoyable ownership experience than one that has been neglected. The custom black interior sounds like a nice complement to the exterior color. In my opinion, black interiors age well visually and provide a clean, timeless appearance that works with almost any exterior color scheme. The Kegger-style rims also contribute to the car's street machine personality. They give the Skylark a more aggressive stance and help distinguish it from a completely stock restoration. Personally, I think they fit the overall theme of the build quite well. At $35,000, this Skylark occupies an interesting position in the muscle car market. While it may not carry the same level of collector demand as some of its GM cousins, it offers many of the same benefits: classic styling, V8 power, a strong road presence, and the ability to stand out from the crowd. What I like most about this car is that it seems focused on enjoyment rather than perfection. It appears to be the type of classic that encourages its owner to take it out on sunny weekends, attend local events, and simply enjoy the experience of driving a vintage American muscle car. Overall, my opinion is that this 1971 Buick Skylark Grand Sport is an appealing cruiser with a distinctive look, reliable powertrain, and plenty of character. It may not be the most famous muscle car of its era, but sometimes the cars that receive less attention end up providing the most rewarding ownership experiences. For someone looking for a classic American coupe that combines style, sound, and usability, this Skylark appears to offer a compelling package that is ready to be enjoyed on the open road. Number 5. 1968 Chevrolet Chevelle SS 454, offered at $40,000 and currently located in Winner, South Dakota. In my opinion, this is one of the more interesting muscle car values I've seen recently because it combines several features that enthusiasts actively seek: big block power, desirable Chevelle styling, rust-free condition, and a restoration that appears to have aged well. If the seller's description accurately reflects the car's condition, the asking price could attract significant attention from classic muscle car buyers. The first thing that immediately stands out is the SS 454 designation. Whether you're a longtime Chevrolet enthusiast or simply a fan of American muscle cars, the combination of a Chevelle body and a 454 big block engine is enough to get people's attention. The 454 has become one of the most iconic Chevrolet performance engines ever produced, known for its massive torque and unmistakable muscle car character. One thing worth noting is that the 1968 model year is especially important in Chevelle history. It marked the introduction of the redesigned body style that many collectors consider one of Chevrolet's best-looking muscle car designs. The sharp lines, aggressive stance, and clean proportions helped establish the Chevelle as a serious competitor during the golden age of muscle cars. The seller states that the car was restored approximately 15 years ago. In my opinion, that can actually be a positive. A fresh restoration often looks impressive, but a restoration that still presents well after 15 years tells you something about the quality of the work. If the paint, vinyl top, chrome, and interior truly remain in like new condition after all that time, It suggests the car has been carefully maintained rather than simply restored and forgotten. Another feature I particularly like is the addition of vintage air. This is one of the most popular upgrades in the classic car world because it significantly improves comfort without dramatically altering the appearance of the vehicle. A classic muscle car that can provide reliable air conditioning becomes much more enjoyable during summer cruises, long road trips, and car show events. The seller also claims the car is rust-free, which is a major selling point. Rust repair is among the most expensive and time-consuming aspects of restoring a classic car. A solid body can save a future owner thousands of dollars and countless hours compared to a vehicle requiring extensive metal work. The black exterior adds another layer of appeal. In my opinion, black is one of the most striking colors on a 1968 Chevelle because it highlights the body lines and gives the car an aggressive, intimidating presence. When combined with bright chrome trim and a clean vinyl top, it creates exactly the kind of appearance many people picture when they think of a classic American muscle car. The automatic transmission also makes the car accessible to a wider audience. While some enthusiasts prefer a 4-speed manual, an automatic-equipped big block Chevelle can still deliver an exciting driving experience while being easier to enjoy in traffic and during casual cruising. At $40,000, I find this listing particularly intriguing. In today's market, restored big block Chevelles often command significantly higher prices depending on documentation, originality, and overall condition. That doesn't automatically make this a bargain, but it does make me wonder if the seller is motivated or simply pricing it aggressively to attract buyers. If I were evaluating this car, I would want to verify whether it is a factory SS and review any available documentation regarding the restoration and drivetrain. Those details can have a major impact on value. I would also inspect the underside, frame, and body mounts to confirm the rust-free claim. Overall, my impression is that this 1968 Chevrolet Chevelle SS 454 has many of the characteristics that muscle car enthusiasts look for: big block power, attractive styling, rust-free condition, vintage air conditioning, and a restoration that appears to have stood the test of time. If the car is as clean as described, it could represent a very appealing opportunity for someone looking to own one of the most recognizable muscle cars of the classic era. Number 6. 1968 Lincoln Continental Executive Sedan, offered at $22,000 and currently located in Lima, Ohio. In my opinion, this 1968 Lincoln Continental is one of the most intriguing luxury car listings I've come across recently. While muscle cars often grab the spotlight, vehicles like the Continental remind us that American automotive excellence wasn't just about horsepower, it was also about comfort, prestige, and unmistakable road presence. What immediately stands out to me is the one-owner history. That's something you rarely see on a vehicle that's nearly 6 decades old. According to the seller, this Lincoln spent most of its life stored indoors in a heated facility from 1982 until last year. In my view, that kind of long-term preservation is often a major reason why some classics survive in exceptional condition. The black exterior combined with a burgundy interior creates a very elegant appearance. Even today, that color combination gives the car a sophisticated look that feels more like a luxury executive vehicle than a typical classic cruiser. One detail that really catches my attention is the reported 27,000 miles. While any low-mileage claim on a vintage vehicle should always be verified, if accurate, it would make this Continental an especially desirable survivor. Low-mileage luxury cars from this era are becoming increasingly difficult to find. The seller also emphasizes how well the doors operate. That may sound like a small detail, but Lincoln Continentals from this period were known for their solid construction and substantial weight. In my opinion, doors that still open and close smoothly after nearly 60 years often indicate a car that has been carefully preserved. Another positive sign is the seller's description of the car as rust-free. For a full-size luxury car from the Midwest, avoiding major rust issues is a significant advantage. Structural condition is often far more important than cosmetic imperfections when evaluating a classic vehicle. Of course, there are still a few things a potential buyer would want to inspect. The seller mentions that the engine is currently running from a gas bottle and that the original fuel tank has not yet been drained. While that doesn't necessarily indicate a problem, It does suggest that the fuel system may need attention before the car returns to regular road use. Overall, my opinion is that this 1968 Lincoln Continental Executive Sedan offers something increasingly rare in today's collector market: originality, documented long-term ownership, luxury car prestige, and apparent preservation. It may not be the fastest classic on the road, but it represents an era when American luxury cars were built to make a statement, and this example appears to do exactly that. Number 7, 1966 Ford Fairlane, offered at $1,234 and currently located in Terre Haute, Indiana. In my opinion, this 1966 Ford Fairlane appears to be more of a restoration project than a turnkey classic, but it could be an interesting opportunity for someone looking to build a vintage Ford to their own specifications. The seller notes that the car was originally equipped with a 289 V8 from the factory, which is a desirable starting point since the 289 remains one of Ford's most respected and easy-to-maintain engines. One thing that immediately stands out is that the vehicle is currently a roller and does not have an engine installed. While that will limit the pool of potential buyers, it also gives enthusiasts the freedom to choose their own powertrain combination, whether they prefer a stock-style restoration, a performance-oriented small block, or even a more modern Ford engine swap. The inclusion of a transmission, radiator, transmission cooler, and headers could help reduce some of the costs associated with getting the project back on the road. The seller is upfront about the rust issue, stating that the front floor pan rust has already been cut out and is awaiting replacement panels to be welded in. Transparency about rust repairs is always a positive sign because it allows potential buyers to better understand the scope of the project before making a commitment. Assuming the rest of the body, frame, trunk, and structural areas are relatively solid, the floor pan repair may be manageable for someone with welding experience or access to a body shop. At the advertised price, which may simply be a placeholder due to the seller's interest in trades, the Fairlane could represent decent value depending on its overall condition. The 1966 Fairlane remains a popular platform among Ford enthusiasts thanks to its classic styling, lightweight design, and strong aftermarket support. Parts availability is generally good, making restoration easier than with many lesser-known classics from the same era. Overall, I think this Fairlane is best suited for a hobbyist who enjoys hands-on projects and is willing to invest time and effort into completing the build. It is clearly not a finished car, but its factory 289 heritage, included components, and restoration potential could make it a rewarding project for the right buyer. If the body and frame are solid beyond the disclosed floor pan repairs, this could be a worthwhile foundation for a future classic Ford restoration. Number 8, 1964 Chrysler Imperial Crown Sedan 4D, offered at $12,000 and currently located in Imlay City, Michigan. In my opinion, this 1964 Chrysler Imperial Crown is one of the most intriguing and underrated luxury cars I've seen among recent classic car listings. While many collectors gravitate toward Cadillacs and Lincolns from the same era, the Imperial often flies under the radar despite offering some of the most distinctive styling, engineering, and luxury features of the 1960s. The first thing that catches my attention is the fact that this is a four-door hardtop. For those unfamiliar with the design, a hardtop sedan lacks the traditional center pillar between the front and rear side windows. When all the windows are down, the car has an incredibly open and elegant appearance that perfectly captures the spirit of 1960s American luxury. In my opinion, the hardtop design is one of the most attractive features on large luxury cars from this period. Another major highlight is the legendary 413 cubic inch Chrysler V8. Chrysler's big block engines have long been respected for their durability and torque, and the 413 is no exception. In a large luxury sedan like the Imperial, this engine wasn't built for drag racing. It was built to move a massive automobile smoothly and effortlessly. I imagine this car would feel incredibly comfortable on the highway, with the V8 barely working as it glides down the road. One of my favorite details in the listing is the push-button TorqueFlite automatic transmission. This is one of those classic automotive features that instantly transports you back to another era. Instead of a traditional gear selector, Chrysler used push buttons mounted on the dashboard. Not only is it a conversation piece at any car show, but it also represents a fascinating period of innovation when manufacturers experimented with unique ways to operate vehicles. The seller's description of the car as a turnkey daily driver is also noteworthy. In my opinion, that statement carries more weight than cosmetic claims because it suggests the vehicle is actively being used and trusted on the road. Many classic cars look great in photos but require constant attention. A car that can be driven regularly and confidently is often far more enjoyable to own. What really strengthens this listing is the extensive maintenance history. The seller reports numerous recent upgrades, including a new carburetor, fuel pump, ignition tune-up components, master cylinder, brake booster, brake hardware, brake lines, tires, alternator, voltage regulator, transmission service, and a stainless steel dual exhaust system. From my perspective, these are exactly the kinds of improvements that make a classic car more reliable and enjoyable without changing its fundamental character. The fact that everything reportedly works, including the original radio, is another detail that stands out. In a 60-year-old luxury vehicle, functioning accessories are often overlooked but can greatly enhance the ownership experience. Little details like a working factory radio help preserve the authentic feel of the car. The reported 64,000 original miles and two-owner history are also attractive points. While mileage should always be verified through documentation, a lower-mileage luxury car that has remained in relatively few hands often suggests a history of careful ownership and maintenance. Stylistically, the blue exterior paired with a blue interior feels perfectly suited to an Imperial. These cars were designed to project elegance and exclusivity, and the color combination reinforces that image. Unlike many modern luxury vehicles that blend into traffic, a 1964 Imperial commands attention wherever it goes. The unique front-end styling, hidden headlights, and massive proportions make it instantly recognizable. At an asking price of $12,000, I honestly think this Imperial represents remarkable value. Finding a running, driving, largely complete luxury flagship from the 1960s with a big block V8, extensive recent maintenance, and a clean title at this price point is becoming increasingly difficult. Overall, my opinion is that this 1964 Chrysler Imperial Crown is a fascinating classic that offers a tremendous amount of car for the money. The 413 V8, push-button TorqueFlite transmission, hardtop body style, extensive recent maintenance, and distinctive styling combine to create a vehicle that stands apart from the crowd. For enthusiasts who appreciate luxury, engineering uniqueness, and the grandeur of 1960s American automobiles, this Imperial appears to be a compelling and highly underrated opportunity. Number 9. 1965 Mercury Comet Caliente, offered at $35,000 and currently located in New Richmond, Wisconsin. From my perspective, this is one of those hidden gems from the mid-1960s that often gets overlooked because it doesn't wear a Mustang, GTO, or Chevelle badge. However, enthusiasts who know Mercury's history understand that the Comet Caliente was one of the more stylish and well-equipped compact performance cars of its era. The first thing that stands out to me is the combination of the 289 high-performance V8 and automatic transmission. In my opinion, the 289 is one of Ford's most respected engines from the muscle car era. It's known for its smooth power delivery, reliability, and ability to make a classic car feel lively without sacrificing drivability. Paired with an automatic transmission, this setup seems perfectly suited for comfortable cruising while still providing enough performance to keep things interesting. One detail that immediately catches my attention is the list of factory-style comfort features. Power windows, power steering, power brakes, and cold air conditioning were desirable options in 1965, and having them all together makes this Comet feel like a premium example. Personally, I think these features significantly increase the enjoyment factor because they make the car much easier to use in modern traffic conditions. The seller's claim that the car spent its life in Arizona is another major positive in my opinion. Classic car buyers often pay close attention to a vehicle's geographic history because dry climate cars tend to avoid many of the rust issues commonly found in vehicles from harsher regions. The statement that the car has had no rust ever, combined with a nice body, is certainly one of the strongest selling points in the entire listing. Visually, The yellow exterior paired with an off-white interior gives this Comet a bright and elegant appearance. Personally, I think lighter colors fit the personality of a mid-1960s Mercury very well. The combination feels period-correct, sophisticated, and distinct from the darker color schemes often seen on muscle cars. The Caliente trim level itself deserves some attention. In my view, Mercury positioned the Caliente as a more upscale version of the standard Comet, offering additional styling touches and comfort features. Because of that, this car feels more refined than many compact performance cars from the same era. The seller also describes the interior as excellent, which is encouraging because interior restoration can be one of the more expensive aspects of classic car ownership. Having a well-preserved cabin often makes a vehicle feel much more complete and ready to enjoy immediately. What I find especially appealing is the overall balance of this package. This isn't a heavily modified drag car, nor is it an ultra-rare collector piece that owners might be afraid to drive. Instead, it appears to be a well-preserved classic that offers a blend of comfort, performance, and style. At $35,000, some buyers may initially compare it to more famous models from the same period. However, in my opinion, the rarity and uniqueness of the Comet Caliente give it a different kind of appeal. You are far less likely to encounter another one at a local cruise night, and that exclusivity can be very attractive to enthusiasts who prefer something a little different. Overall, my opinion is that this 1965 Mercury Comet Caliente represents a very well-rounded classic. It combines a respected Ford the Fifth 8, desirable comfort features, rust-free history, attractive styling, and what sounds like excellent overall condition. For someone looking for a classic car that stands apart from the usual crowd while still delivering a genuine 1960s American driving experience, this Comet Caliente appears to be a highly appealing option. It's the kind of car that rewards owners not only with performance and comfort, but also with the satisfaction of owning something truly distinctive. Number 10, 1969 Mercury Cougar, offered at $18,500 and currently located in Park Ridge, Illinois. In my opinion, this is one of the more attractive performance-oriented classics in this price range because it combines a desirable body style with a proven drivetrain package. While the Ford Mustang often gets most of the attention, the 1969 Mercury Cougar offers many of the same mechanical advantages while maintaining a more upscale and distinctive appearance. The first thing that grabs my attention is the 351 Cleveland engine. Among Ford enthusiasts, the Cleveland has earned a reputation as one of the company's best performance V8s. Known for its excellent cylinder head design and strong breathing characteristics, the 351C is capable of delivering impressive power while still remaining relatively reliable and easy to maintain. Even today, many muscle car fans specifically seek out Cleveland-powered Fords because of their performance potential. Backing the engine is the legendary Ford C6 automatic transmission. In my opinion, this is one of the toughest automatic transmissions ever produced by Ford. These transmissions are known for their durability and ability to handle substantial horsepower without complaint. The combination of a 351 Cleveland and a C6 transmission creates a drivetrain package that is both enjoyable and dependable. Another major selling point is the 9-inch rear end. For classic Ford enthusiasts, the Ford 9-inch is almost legendary. It has become the benchmark for strength and durability, and its presence adds credibility to any performance-oriented build. Whether the car is used for weekend cruising or spirited driving, the rear end is more than capable of handling the power. The seller states that both the engine and transmission were fully rebuilt less than 5,000 miles ago. In my opinion, this is probably the most valuable detail in the entire listing. Major drivetrain work can be extremely expensive, and having fresh rebuilds potentially saves the next owner a significant amount of money and effort. Of course, documentation and receipts would be ideal, but the claim itself is certainly encouraging. Visually, the 1969 Cougar stands apart from the Mustang with its hidden headlights, unique grille design, and more refined styling. I've always felt that the Cougar offers a slightly more mature and sophisticated appearance compared to its Ford sibling. It still looks muscular, but it does so with a bit more elegance. The Magnum 500 wheels are another nice touch. They're one of the most iconic wheel designs of the muscle car era and fit the Cougar perfectly. In my view, they enhance the car's period-correct appearance without looking outdated. At $18,500, this car occupies an interesting place in today's market. Comparable Mustangs with a rebuilt drivetrain often command noticeably higher prices. Because Cougars have historically flown under the radar, they sometimes offer better value for buyers who care more about the driving experience than the badge on the hood. What I particularly like about this listing is that it appears focused on the fundamentals. Instead of highlighting flashy modifications, the seller emphasizes the drivetrain, rear end, and overall mechanical condition. For many enthusiasts, those are the details that matter most. If I were evaluating this Cougar, I would want to inspect the body carefully for rust, verify the rebuild documentation, and take a close look at the suspension, brakes, and interior condition. The listing provides excellent drivetrain information but leaves many other aspects of the vehicle open to inspection. Overall, my impression is that this 1969 Mercury Cougar offers a lot of classic muscle car appeal for the money. The rebuilt 351 Cleveland, C6 automatic transmission, Ford 9-inch rear end, and iconic styling make it a very compelling package. For buyers looking beyond the usual Mustang crowd, this Cougar could represent one of the better values in the classic Ford market, combining performance, style, and drivability at a relatively accessible price point. Number 11, 1969 Chevrolet Chevelle Restomod, offered at $35,000 and currently located in Belvidere, Illinois. In my opinion, this 1969 Chevelle Restomod represents an interesting blend of classic muscle car styling and modern drivability. The Chevelle has always been one of the most recognizable American performance cars of the late 1960s, and Restomod builds continue to attract enthusiasts who want vintage looks without giving up reliability and convenience. What immediately stands out to me is the Restomod approach. Rather than being a completely original restoration, this car appears to have been updated to provide a more enjoyable driving experience. For many buyers, that's actually a major advantage because it allows them to enjoy the classic appearance of a 1969 Chevelle while benefiting from newer mechanical components. The seller notes that the engine has approximately 243 horsepower and that the automatic transmission has around 9,000 miles. While the listing doesn't provide extensive details about the build, the relatively low mileage on the drivetrain suggests that significant work may have been completed in recent years. One thing I appreciate is the straightforward description. The seller simply states that the car runs great and has no issues. While any classic car should always be inspected in person, it's encouraging when an owner presents a vehicle as a driver rather than focusing only on cosmetic appearance. The 1969 model year is especially desirable because many enthusiasts consider it one of the best-looking Chevelles ever produced. The aggressive front-end styling, muscular body lines, and balanced proportions have helped make the '69 Chevelle a lasting icon in the muscle car world. At an asking price of $35,000, my opinion is that this car sits in an interesting segment of the market. Fully restored big block Chevelles can easily command much higher prices, while project cars often require substantial additional investment. This example appears to offer a middle ground for someone looking for a turnkey classic with updated components. Overall, my opinion is that this 1969 Chevelle Restomod could be an appealing choice for someone who values driving enjoyment as much as originality. It combines one of the most iconic muscle car designs of the era with the practicality of a modernized setup, making it the kind of car that can be enjoyed on the road rather than simply admired in a garage. Number 12. 1964 Ford Galaxy 500 XL convertible, offered at $37,500 and currently located in Watertown, Wisconsin. In my opinion, this 1964 Ford Galaxy 500 XL convertible appears to be one of the more attractive classic Ford offerings currently on the market, especially for buyers looking for a fully restored, ready-to-enjoy cruiser rather than a project car. The combination of a frame-off restoration, convertible body style, and desirable XL trim package makes this vehicle stand out among full-size American classics from the mid-1960s. The biggest selling point is undoubtedly the reported frame-off, nut and bolt restoration. A restoration of this level typically involves disassembling the vehicle down to the frame and rebuilding or refinishing virtually every component before reassembly. According to the seller, the car has accumulated only about 1,000 miles since the restoration was completed, which suggests that much of the work remains fresh and should still present very well both mechanically and cosmetically. Power comes from Ford's 352 cubic inch V8 paired with an automatic transmission, a combination that delivers the smooth and relaxed driving experience many collectors expect from a full-size convertible of this era. While it may not be the highest performance Galaxy available in 1964, the 352 V8 is a proven and dependable engine that provides plenty of power for comfortable cruising and weekend drives. The white exterior paired with a blue interior is a classic color combination that suits the car's elegant styling. As an XL convertible, this Galaxy also benefits from a more upscale appearance compared to standard models, making it especially appealing for car shows, cruise nights, and collector events. The factory-style power convertible top further enhances the driving experience and adds to the vehicle's overall desirability. The seller describes the car as an excellent runner and driver, which is exactly what many buyers hope to find when shopping in this price range. Rather than purchasing a vehicle that still requires restoration work, a buyer could potentially enjoy this Galaxy immediately while preserving its value as a collectible classic. Of course, I would still recommend reviewing restoration documentation, photographs, and receipts if available, as these records can help verify the quality and extent of the work performed. A close inspection of the paint, chrome, undercarriage, and convertible top operation would also be worthwhile. However, assuming the restoration was completed to a high standard, the asking price appears reasonable for a fully restored 1964 Galaxy 500 XL convertible. Overall, I believe this car represents a strong option for collectors and enthusiasts who appreciate full-size American convertibles from the 1960s. The combination of a documented restoration, desirable XL trim, V8 power, and classic styling makes it a vehicle that could attract attention wherever it goes. For someone seeking a turnkey classic Ford with show-quality appeal and open-top enjoyment, this Galaxy appears to be a very compelling package. Number 13. 1966 Ford 7-liter Galaxy 500 convertible, offered at $40,000 and currently located in Sobieski, Wisconsin. In my opinion, this 1966 Ford 7-liter Galaxy 500 convertible is the kind of classic that immediately grabs the attention of serious Ford enthusiasts. It's not just another Galaxy, it's a genuine 7-liter model, a one-year-only performance luxury package that has become increasingly desirable among collectors. When you combine that rarity with a factory convertible body style, a 428 V8, a 4-speed manual transmission, and factory air conditioning, you end up with a very special car. The first thing that stands out to me is the 7-liter designation itself. Ford introduced this model for 1966 as a premium performance car built around the powerful 428 cubic inch FE engine. Unlike many full-size cars of the era that focused primarily on comfort, the 7-liter was designed to blend luxury and muscle into one package. In my view, it represents one of the most interesting chapters in Ford's performance history. What makes this example even more appealing is the factory 428 V8 paired with a 4-speed manual transmission. Personally, I think this is the combination that most enthusiasts dream about. The 428 is famous for producing massive torque, and a manual gearbox allows the driver to fully experience that power. In a large convertible like this, the result is a unique driving experience that combines effortless cruising with surprisingly strong performance. Another detail that really catches my attention is the factory air conditioning. That may not sound exciting compared to the engine and transmission, but factory AC was far less common in performance-oriented cars during the mid-1960s. In my opinion, having factory air conditioning adds both comfort and collector appeal because it reflects how well-equipped this car was when new. The convertible body style is also a major selling point. Full-size American convertibles from the 1960s have a presence that is difficult to replicate today. With the top down, this Galaxy would offer a driving experience that perfectly captures the spirit of the era. Long highways, a big block V8 soundtrack, and open-air cruising are exactly what cars like this were built for. The green exterior and matching green interior are another feature that I find appealing. Modern cars tend to be dominated by neutral colors, but many classic cars look their best in bold factory color combinations. In my opinion, a correctly preserved period color scheme adds authenticity and helps the car stand out at shows and events. The seller notes that the car runs fantastic, which is always encouraging to hear. While the listing is brief, the combination of the reported drivetrain and the low mileage shown in the ad suggests this may be a well-maintained example rather than a project waiting to happen. From a collector's perspective, rarity is a significant factor here. The 1966 7-liter was produced for only a single model year, making it far less common than standard Galaxies. Add the convertible body, factory air conditioning, and 4-speed manual transmission, and the number of comparable cars becomes much smaller. Looking at the asking price of $40,000, I believe much of the value comes from the unique combination of features rather than simply the condition alone. Rare factory options, desirable performance equipment, and one-year-only models tend to attract dedicated enthusiasts who understand exactly what they are looking at. Overall, my opinion is that this 1966 Ford 7-liter Galaxie 500 convertible is one of the more interesting Ford listings I've seen. The one-year-only 7-liter package, factory 428 V8, 4-speed manual transmission, factory air conditioning, and convertible body style create a combination that is both rare and highly desirable. For collectors who appreciate full-size Ford performance cars, this appears to be a standout example that delivers rarity, style, and classic big block power all in one package. Number 14. 1965 Ford Galaxie 500 convertible, offered at $23,900 and currently located in Arlington Heights, Illinois. From my perspective, this is the kind of classic American convertible that perfectly captures the spirit of summer cruising. The mid-1960s were a golden era for full-size American cars, and the 1965 Ford Galaxie 500 remains one of the most stylish and recognizable examples from that period. The first thing that immediately catches my attention is the price point. In my opinion, finding a clean, running, and driving full-size convertible under $25,000 has become increasingly difficult in today's classic car market. Many comparable convertibles from the same era can easily command significantly higher prices, especially when they are presented in solid overall condition. Visually, the red exterior is exactly the kind of color that complements a 1965 Galaxie. Personally, I think bright colors belong on classic convertibles because they emphasize the long body lines, chrome trim, and open-air personality of the car. Combined with the black interior, the color combination creates a timeless look that still feels attractive more than 60 years later. One detail I particularly like is that the seller describes both the paint and chrome as being in nice condition. For a car from this era, chrome plays a huge role in the overall appearance. When the bright work presents well, it dramatically enhances the visual impact of the vehicle. The interior also sounds encouraging. The seller mentions no rips, stains, or tears, which suggests the cabin has been cared for over the years. In my opinion, a well-kept interior can make a classic car feel significantly more valuable and enjoyable, especially in a convertible where passengers spend so much time exposed to the open air. From a driving standpoint, the inclusion of power steering is a major plus. Full-size cars from the 1960s are known for their substantial size and weight, so power steering makes the driving experience much more relaxed and enjoyable. It's one of those features that owners tend to appreciate every time they get behind the wheel. The power convertible top is another feature that adds convenience and luxury. Personally, I think there's something special about being able to lower the top at a moment's notice and transform the entire character of the car. It turns an ordinary drive into an experience and is one of the biggest reasons classic convertibles continue to be so popular. The dual exhaust system is another nice touch. While the seller doesn't specify the engine details, dual exhaust often enhances both performance and sound. In my opinion, a classic Ford convertible should have a little personality when you press the accelerator, and a dual exhaust system helps deliver that classic V8 soundtrack. The 15-inch Craigar wheels also stand out. These wheels have been a staple of the American custom and muscle car scene for decades. Personally, I think they fit the Galaxy's character very well, giving it a slightly sportier appearance without taking away from its classic styling. What appeals to me most about this car is that it appears to be focused on enjoyment rather than perfection. It sounds like a vehicle that can be driven regularly, taken to local car shows, enjoyed on weekend cruises, or simply used for a relaxing drive on a sunny afternoon. At $23,900, I see this Galaxy as offering a lot of classic car for the money. You're getting a full-size convertible, attractive styling, good presentation, useful comfort features, and a vehicle that reportedly runs and drives well. That's a combination that can be difficult to find at this price level. Overall, my opinion is that this 1965 Ford Galaxy 500 convertible represents a very appealing entry into the world of classic American drop-tops. It combines timeless styling, open-air fun, practical features, and a reasonable asking price into one attractive package. For someone looking to enjoy the classic car hobby without spending a fortune, this Galaxy appears to be the kind of car that delivers exactly what many enthusiasts want: comfortable cruising, vintage charm, and plenty of attention wherever it goes. Number 15, 1963 Ford Galaxy 2-door coupe, offered at $600 and currently located in Rock Island, Illinois. In my opinion, this is not really a classic car purchase. It's a parts purchase that happens to come in the shape of a complete 1963 Ford Galaxy. The seller is very clear about the vehicle's intended purpose, stating that it is being sold strictly as a parts car and that there is no title available. Because of that, I would evaluate this listing very differently than I would a running project or restoration candidate. The first thing that stands out is the body style. Even though this Galaxy is being sold for parts, it's still a 1963 two-door coupe, which is generally more desirable than a four-door sedan. Two-door Galaxies continue to have a loyal following among Ford enthusiasts, drag racing fans, and restorers looking to save other cars from being scrapped. What makes this listing particularly interesting is the seller's emphasis on the condition of specific body components. The front clip is described as very solid, and the doors, trunk lid, and tail light assemblies are also said to be in strong condition. In my opinion, that's where much of the value lies. Good sheet metal for early 1960s Fords isn't always easy to find, especially in regions where rust has claimed many of these cars over the decades. The fact that the car is largely complete also adds value. The seller notes that the interior remains mostly stock except for an aftermarket stereo. Even if the vehicle itself is beyond practical restoration, original trim pieces, interior components, dash parts, glass, and hardware can all be valuable to someone restoring another Galaxy. Mechanically, the car is equipped with a 6-cylinder engine and automatic transmission. While most collectors gravitate toward V8-powered Galaxies, there is still value in a complete 6-cylinder drivetrain, especially for enthusiasts seeking period-correct parts or maintaining a factory-original car. One important detail is the missing fuel tank. For someone considering a restoration, that would be a drawback. However, since the seller is positioning this as a parts vehicle, it's less of a concern. The real focus here is on what components can be reused rather than whether the car can be driven. The lack of a title is another major factor. In my opinion, that effectively removes the car from consideration for many buyers looking for a straightforward restoration project. While title recovery is possible in some situations, the seller is wisely advertising it as a parts car to avoid confusion. At just $600, the asking price is surprisingly low considering the amount of usable material that may still be present. In today's market, a few good body panels, trim pieces, or hard-to-find interior components can easily justify that figure. For a Ford enthusiast already restoring a 1963 Galaxy, this could be viewed as a very affordable donor vehicle. What I find most appealing about this listing is that it appears honest. The seller isn't trying to market a heavily deteriorated car as an easy restoration. Instead, they're clearly stating what it is, what it isn't, and where the value should be found. That level of transparency is refreshing in the classic car market. Overall, my impression is that this 1963 Ford Galaxy is best suited for collectors, restorers, and classic Ford enthusiasts searching for hard-to-find original parts. It may not be a practical candidate for most restorations due to the missing title and parts car status, but as a donor vehicle, it appears to offer a substantial amount of usable components at a very affordable price. For the right buyer, this Galaxy could help keep another classic Ford on the road for years to come.